Matt Rule, head football coach at the University of Nebraska, and today we're here at the Osborne Family Legacy Complex. This is really one of the preeminent football buildings in college sports. It's a tremendous building for us. What makes the building so special is that really anything that touches the student athlete is all in one place. On the ground floor, both the locker room, player lounge, weight room, we have athletic medicine, athletic wellness, a recovery area, and training room. Then you go up to the second floor, the training table is there so players can eat. Academic support is there so players can study, compliance, life skills, all the areas that a player would have off the field. And then finally, as you get to the second floor, that's where coaches' offices are. That's where the walkthrough room is, where a player can go and get off-field reps that mimic being on the field. And then finally, all the meetings, the classrooms where they can work and learn more football. It's built so that a student athlete can develop and grow. That's really what the University of Nebraska is famous for, really the preeminent place for college football player development, and this building puts us back on top.
Corey Campbell, head strength conditioning coach for football at the University of Nebraska, and we're in the brand new weight room of the Tom Osborne Legacy Complex. Starting up top, we'll begin at the cardio deck. Up there, we have a multitude of cardio pieces to achieve cardiovascular training with our guys. From Woodway, we have their XL treadmills, great for the big guys on the team. We have Woodway curves, those are self-propelled runners. And then from Woodway, we have their new climbers. From Matrix, we have elliptical trainers, rowers, and a Stairmaster. We have Jacob's ladders as well. Those pieces not only can be used by our student athletes, but from the coaching staff as well. You have an added vantage point if coaches are up there doing cardio, they can look down on the weight room floor. Sorinex outfitted this space with 32 racks. In those racks, we have a multitude of attachments. On one side of the weight room, the back side of the racks is where our cable attachments are, where we can do seated lat pull down, seated rows, things of that nature, bulldog pad attachments, step bar attachments. Any attachment that you think of to have on a rack, it's there. The guys have access to everything that they need within their rack at their quad. So we limit the amount of moving around the weight room that they have to do during the session. Going over to the left side of the weight room, we have our Kaiser area. That uses air resistance as the load versus plate loaded equipment. That area is reserved a lot for our elite guys, but also our long-term return to play guys. Behind that Kaiser area, we have our plyo stairs and our adjustable ramp. With our adjustable ramp, we can change that to a grade of 30 degrees and anywhere in between 0 and that. Right behind that, we have our plyo stairs. When you're thinking just vertical jump integration. Under the plyo stairs, we have our cardio studio. Where up top in the cardio deck, we had our treads, climbers, Stairmasters, things of that nature. In our cardio studio, that's where we have our bikes. That space will be outfitted with a couple of Pelotons, more guided training for the guys, but we also have our road bikes in there and a couple of ski ergs. Coming out of the cardio studio, it brings you to our turf area. 30 yards of dedicated space for the guys to move around in. In this area, we have our plyo boxes, and then this is the area where we throw our mirror balls at too. Leaving the turf area and going to the right side of the weight room, that area is dedicated for our dumbbells and our machines. It mirrors each other so that once we do get to our station-based work during that time of the lift, we aren't on top of each other when we train. In that area, you'll find dumbbells. We also have Sorinex's seated row. With that row, you can change the grips and you can change which angle you're doing things. So we got a lot of variation within that one machine. In addition to that, we have our leg extension, leg curls, and Frankenhypers from Sorinex as well, so we can get some more lower body volume in addition to what we're doing at that rack. Outside of that equipment, we have our neck machines, our leg presses and chest presses. The last pieces that we have over there are our belt squats. This space was definitely a blessing to have because we have 32,000 square feet of space, right? That allowed me to be able to put 32 racks in here, 32 platforms. It's very indicative of the way that we train. But if you take a deeper look in it, it's broken up into 4 quads. And throughout training, like break the team up into 4 different quads as we work throughout our station-based exercises. That's done so that we can be as efficient as we need to be so that we can make sure every guy is getting every set and every rep of every exercise in an efficient manner. In addition to the weight room, we have an advantage of having our fueling station right there. So as guys exit practice, as guys exit training sessions, they go by the nutrition counter. It's very efficient in from them getting to point A to point B to point C to point D.
My name is Kristen Coggin. Right now we are currently in our brand new fueling station right outside the weight room. One of the best things is this whole floor is all for our student athletes. And one thing here is they can get pre-lift and post-lift or practice fuel. So a big thing for us is making sure that it flows in their way to the field or off the field. But in addition to on their way into the weight room or on their way off to practice, they can get some quick carbs in if they need them. So it's a great spot and they can come anytime and get snacks. In addition to that too, we do a bunch of snacks out of here for our guys. So we have this wonderful oven back here that we can do things. We're really big on this is where all our post-practice shakes will be, with our guys' names on them and exactly what they need. So on the way to the cold tubs or on the way to the hot tub or off to the training room, they're able to grab their recovery then just to continue to increase their recovery as they are in other locations.
I'm Mitch Shawinski. I'm the coordinator of football sports science here, and we're standing right in front of our recovery area. This recovery area is where a lot of our athletes come every single day, whether it's to just come in and get in the hot tub, come in and get in the sauna, whatever they want to do to really make sure that they're either getting prepped for practice or to get them recovered from practice to be ready for the next day. Immediately post-practice, what they're able to do is they're able to drop their stuff off, and then they're able to come through and go through the car wash, which is what we require them to do. What that does is it knocks off all the dirt, all the grime, all the sweat before they get into the tubs. So we have the resistance cold tub. It's a cold tub that has jets that are pushing against you to make you work through the pool a little bit more as you're walking through it. So the temperature that fluctuates depending on the time of the year, but we're able to control that and we make sure it's set at what we want it to be set at. The next thing in the hydrotherapy area is the hot tub. That's a static temperature. That's where a lot of our guys end up going because they like being in the hot water a lot more than the cold water. We also have the sauna. So the sauna is somewhere where the guys who like heat therapy, they're kind of working through some things, but they don't like to be in water. So they're able to sit in there, get a little bit of a sweat, start to warm with their body, and they can actually do some yoga or some stretching in there pre or post practice to kind of get them ready or bring them back down post practice. Next, we have the red light therapy. So the red light therapy is a bed from Novothor. What that does is it actually interacts with the cells in your body and actually helps decrease pain, decrease swelling, increase blood flow, and start to work out a lot of those things that are in your body and try to clear out a lot of that waste that's coming from either a practice or a game or from training. In the sleep room, we have two different areas. So we have the sleep pods. What those do, they're actually time-activated recliners that'll sit you up, vibrate you to tell you whenever your sleep time is up. On the other side, we have our zero-gravity recliners. So what those do, they're heated and they're also vibration massage as well. What that does is if you hold in the zero-gravity buttons, it puts your body in a certain orientation that you feel zero gravity. Both of those things, I try to tell the guys all the time, like, don't just go in there and just take a nap or don't go in and just sit in the recliner because we also have 35 pairs of Normatec boots. So with those Normatec boots, they could put them on and it's compression therapy and it's graded compression to help increase the blood flow to the lower body. Additionally, around the other side, we have our sensory deprivation tanks. Those are really good for stress, anxiety, relaxation, visualization, and really being able to work on kind of the deeper side of the mental game that comes along with football. And a lot of guys don't like to get in water and especially don't like to stay in water for as long as it is. So we also have our dry float beds. The dry float bed is more or less if you think of a heated water bed. The dry floats are kept at a certain temperature. What that allows them to do is they sink into the water. Feels like they're floating. The water around them, so that it gives you that same sensory deprivation float tank feeling, but you're just not encapsulated in something. Our multi-purpose room is somewhere where we do a little bit of everything. So we have yoga classes in there. We have our chiropractor set up in there, and we also have our massage therapist set up in there. The use, the functionality, the research side of things, this is the best that we can get. Coach Rule is always about recovery. We are going to practice hard. So for us, this recovery space is so massive for our athletes just because it allows them to come back, not only be available for the next day, but be at that peak performance that they can be for that next day so that they can have the best practice.
My name is Drew Hamblin. I'm the head football athletic trainer at the University of Nebraska Football, and this is the George Sullivan Athletic Training Room. We have 14 treatment tables. We have researched, we have looked at all sorts of modalities to help our student athletes heal faster, recover faster, quicker, more efficient. Our staff of athletic trainers here prides themselves on not being complacent, by being cutting edge, by being innovative. So we utilize a lot of our rehabs, a lot of our modalities into the sense of if we can't prevent an injury on the field, how do we prevent it off the field? Putting together programs where we are maybe not treating an injury, but we're hopefully preventing a future injury. So using all the means, the rehab, the space, the resources that we have with Mitch in sports science, the resources we have with Kristen in nutrition, as well as Corey in the strength and conditioning, all those pieces just come together to make a bigger picture puzzle of keeping the student athletes away from injury, keeping them healthy, keeping them effective and efficient. Our big philosophy here in the training room is to get these guys up and moving. So you'll see a lot of the rehab equipment around the room. We have the anti-gravity treadmills that can assist with early walking, early range of motion, running progressions, all those things. The anti-gravity treadmill will help us. We also have a hydrotherapy room that is dedicated only to the treatment and the rehab portion of the recovery. We utilize the underwater treadmill as a tool to bring the guy back from an injury. We put the guys in the water. We can take a good amount of their body weight off. We can also add the little bit of compression effect that the water provides. The treadmill is about 6 feet wide, so we can do simulated cuts, S-curves. We can do little shuffles and change of directions in that sense. The underwater treadmill has about 4 to 5 cameras. So the underwater cameras provide a really good biofeedback loop for both the athlete, but then also for us to help give those tips and those points on how to move more efficiently and more effectively. In this building, we also house our own MRI. We also have an X-ray machine in this building. So when we talk about everything being central and close for the student athletes, that's just another piece of that athletic medicine puzzle. This place is state-of-the-art. You can obviously tell there's a lot of care, there's a lot of desire to do well, to outfit the student athletes with every means possible, to take care of the student athlete. You know, you can tell that the investment has been made here by the university in terms of all-around well-being of the student athlete here. You can tell that the investment has been made.
Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Elliot Brown. I play wide receiver here at Nebraska. I'm from Omaha, and this is the Frank Solich locker room. For the whole design process of everything, they were perfectly fit for what we wanted. Each individual little piece and part of the locker room was designed by us with the help of everyone that made this thing become reality. So it was really nice to be able to have a say in what we wanted. It is really cool the way they laid it out. You can see everyone kind of clear. We got our laundry back there, our equipment staff back there. So if you need anything, you pass through everybody, say what's up to them in the morning to go get your laundry. But overall, the layout of this is pretty sweet because it's nothing like any other locker room I've ever been in. So these are our lockers. As you can see, you open them up. First of all, we have these passcodes individualized to each and every one of us, so nobody can get in unless you know the code, which is really nice. Up here, you have room to put your shoulder pads, cleats, towels, jugs, whatever it may be. And then you got all these shelves. This is where you put your phones, your shower stuff, maybe notebooks, socks, whatever it may be. You got some hangers in here. Mainly I hang sweatshirts or coats when it's the wintertime, stuff like that. And then you got drawers. I put my cleats, my shoes, workout stuff, whatever you may need in here. And the cool thing is you're probably thinking, wow, it probably stinks. A bunch of sweat, a bunch of turf. No, we have ventilation. We have little things down here to keep us ventilized. And obviously you got more shelves over here. You put more cleats in here, gloves, whatever it may be. This is where we display our helmets and jerseys for game days. You can see this is where your helmet goes. It fits on this little rack right here. Take it off, you're ready to roll. Put our jerseys, pants, everything you may need for game day right here. This is where our names go. You'll have a picture of yourself and your name. And right here is a screen. It'll update with what we have, our schedule, different sayings we have. That's everything that comes in our lockers. So this is a little entryway. Right here we have a saying that we kind of have in our team. It's a scroll mark 3, talks about being a sheep versus a lion. Good reminder when you walk in here just to like who we are, what our motto is on the team, what kind of team we want to be. So this is our rack room. Basically, it's where we store all of our practice and game equipment. Shoulder pads, cleats, gloves, helmets. You wear braces, like knee braces, elbows, stuff like that. One thing that makes it really unique is a lot of teams have this in their locker room, but we actually made it a separate location right outside the practice field. So that way it has its own ventilation. We got these dry racks where you can put your cleats and stuff. It'll dry it on its own, so that way when you come to practice the next day, you don't got no soggy cleats or nothing like that. Everyone has their own compartments where you put your shoulder pads, spiders, helmets, all that sort of stuff. Everything's personalized, just like the locker room. Super nice to have, and we're super grateful that we have something like this that's so much different than everybody else.
My name is Marquise Buford. I play safety here at Nebraska, and right now we're in the Players Lounge. This is where guys come a lot of their downtime in between classes right after practice, and you got to be somewhere. I feel like it has everything you need as a player. You know, you can get your hair cut in here, you can play the game in here, you can eat in here, you can chill and watch a movie in here. You know, it's a lot of space to do anything that you want to do if you got some downtime. As a player, the unique thing about a player's lounge is, you know, getting to talk to different people from different places and get to know one another, you know. A lot of the times we're focused on football or we're focused on school or whatnot. Just having a place to like decompress really and just have a good time and chill and vibe with your teammates is really good to have. A good spot to come and hang out, you know, more so than anything. And here we got our theater/gaming room. You know, we got a bunch of comfy chairs in here. This is where some people may come take a nap, or, you know, we might come in here and have a 2K competition or play Madden. And on top of all this great stuff, we have about 12 gaming consoles that everybody is free to use at any point in time throughout the day. And what I would have to say, my favorite part of the room is the huge TV that we have. Being able to play the game on this huge screen is kind of fun, I have to say. And not even just that, it can split up to 4 different TVs and different people can watch whatever they want. Anything to just help us decompress. So for the most part, it's a lot of stressful stuff from school to football. So having this area to really come and just hang out, have some fun, you know, compete outside of the football field and play video games or even just lay back and watch a movie with some of the guys is always a good time.
My name's Kristen Coggin. I'm the assistant AD for performance nutrition. I oversee football nutrition, but also Olympic dietitians. Also our new training table that we partnered with for Flick Athletics. So I think a big thing for me was how do we support what we want this vision to be? And that was kind of where we looked to partnering with Flick Athletics, being the first college to work with them, just giving our student athletes the same food and level of service that they get in the pro sports. So we actually are really fortunate here. We have 13 full-time dietitians that work with our student athletes on the Olympic side and football side of things. But then we also partner with the Flick Athletics, who we have an executive chef, we have a GM, and we have multiple other chefs that help us produce all the food for our student athletes in our new training table. Then they come in, they can look at the options. I always tell everyone, take a lap before you choose what you want, so we can kind of figure out what they need. Kind of when they walk down the different buffets, you can start with like the fruit and veggies. I can start with like looking at the smoothie station. I then can look down the 2 buffet lines. And usually the first ones are about your comfort, so maybe something more you're used to, and then you get towards where we go more basic. I would say it's about 265 seats, and that's not including the patio. We can use the all-athlete lounge. We can use the private dining space. We have a lot of options of places to sit. I think that's one of the big reasons is the environment. Like it's anything from the music to how we lay out the food. Is there enough room for people to sit? Like I think it's just all the different pieces, but I think it's just a place where they actually feel like they can come in and it's comfortable, right? They can relax. And obviously, why would you want to leave? Like you can always go back for more food, which we want them to do, so all that kind of stuff. I think one of the biggest things is like us having that relationship and teaching them like, how do you build a balanced plate? How do I get the life skills that I need of like, what are carbs, what are proteins, what are fruits and veggies? Like, how do I learn how to cook? Like some people are so nervous to try it, but with this fact that we have a space where we can teach you, I think that's huge.
My name is Dennis LeBlanc and I'm the Deputy AD for Student Services. And we are currently in the Herman Academic Center for Student Athletes in the Osborne Legacy Complex. Being at Nebraska for 41 years, I've had an opportunity to look at a lot of academic centers, and this is second to none. And we're very fortunate that we have office space for our 14 academic staff members and our entire life skills staff. And we have 35 study rooms with also open study area for our student athletes to lounge, study openly. We've got great sunlight that comes in here. We've got all the technology that you would ever want in each of the tutoring rooms that are available. You know, the study spaces, if you're studying to be a doctor and you're preparing for the MCAT, you've got a quiet place to go. If you're working with a group on a project, you're in a room with all the technology you need. Or if you're meeting with a tutor, and it's in a group setting where you want to be in an open space, or if it's in a private study room. And then also to have access to our staff for advising, working with writing consultants. And so just, you know, really all the phases of being a student while you're an athlete. This area, this building is a 5-star resort for the mind and the body. Our athletes are going to be in here, our football players are going to be in here a lot. And then we just have great access to the other parts of our facility. So for me, it's important to be around the student athletes and for them to be around our staff. So I'm surrounded by student athletes. You walk out the front door and you're right on campus. Access was important. And so for student athletes to be able to access it from campus, I really kind of have to pinch myself and to think, wow, I get to work in the premier academic center in the United States, but also the premier complex for a student athlete to be the very best in all phases of what they're trying to accomplish. So it's an honor and privilege to work in Nebraska and work in a facility like this.
Marino Tang, Director of Football Video here at Nebraska Football. We're currently in the team meeting room. This room is used for many different things as far as our team meeting rooms, and this room can actually hold the whole team and staff. We have all the state-of-the-art speakers, state-of-the-art projectors projected on the wall to show everything that we need as far as being able to teach or coach everything that we need to do here in the team room. Being able to have a desk or something that kind of pulls right up, you are able to write or take notes and learn. We wanted to kind of add and implement every little thing that can help our players be successful. Not only do we have the team meeting room, we have another room which can also host another side of the ball. Less amount of theater seating, but the same amount of equipment for our players on the defensive side of the ball game to be able to accomplish learning and teaching as far as everything we do here. In addition of, we have a smaller classroom setting, which is our position meeting rooms, dedicated for each position on a football field. We have obviously all 10 positions on the field where they can have a small setting of a place where they can kind of coach and teach. So these rooms are as equipped and furnished to the top level of college football. Nebraska has really provided one of the top class meeting spaces for players to hang out, watch film, coaches to be able to go in and teach and show off film to correct the mistakes that we have at practice. So that's what we have here in Nebraska.
Bob White, AK Solutions, and I'm at Nebraska's new walkthrough wall room. This is obviously beautiful and beautifully architected and really kind of designed for everything you need to accomplish in college football. So walkthroughs where you're not sitting in a classroom and just kind of looking at video, looking at a PowerPoint, or you're actually just kind of walking through things is amazingly helpful. It's a fast way for players to learn. So like with the walkthrough rooms, I can put up our 3D playbook and I can just put the other team's offense up there, my defense here, and we can rip through 70 or 80 plays in about the same time we could get through 10 or 15 if I had 22 guys in here. It makes it so much faster and more efficient for that team that's actually trying to learn things.
Well, I tell you, at the end of the day, it's just the ultimate ability to enhance the learning process. One of our jobs as coaches is to see around corners. And the more that you can give those different scenarios that we're talking about and manipulate the video to show those possibilities and the things that you might see in the game setting, you eliminate some of those mistakes before they actually happen. So the more that we can show and the situations that we can show, once the game happens, you got one shot at it. And if we're at the top of our performance level, the better off we have a chance to be successful and to make good plays.
I'm Susan Elza. I'm the Chief of Staff for Nebraska Football. We're standing in the atrium of over 300,000 square foot building that was built and intended to help make this football program elite. This top level floor is where all of our staff is. The coaches are on the side where the practice fields are. The offices on this side overlooking that have these balconies. I think everybody would have thrown elbows over those, but those offices were reserved for our on-field staff. It's one of those things that you look at and you're just in awe of it. So when you go back to the staff area, you have an offensive meeting room, you have a defensive meeting room, and if you're on the east side of this, you're looking at the beautiful entry of Memorial Stadium. So much space here, and it's just making good use of that space, allowing people private meeting spaces so they can, do the work behind the scenes to make us an elite program. I don't care where you are in this building. I don't care what office you're in. You're in just such a great place to learn, get better, prepare yourself every day to help make this team better.
This building has been very important for us because A, it helps our players develop. We want to watch our young men grow into the best versions of themselves. But B, in recruiting it sends a message to people that if you love football, if you want to be poured into, if you want to be developed, if you want to be great on and off the field, that's important here to us too. It's one thing to say something's important, but when you build a building like this, you're speaking with your actions. If guys like football and they want to be the best, they'll want to come here.